Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock on a Saturday, which means it's time for a Talk Magic. And I am speaking today not just to one creator, but two creators, two performers, two creators, two legends in the magic industry, two of my favorite people, period, in the whole of magic. First of all, we have Noel Qualter, then we have Roddy McGhie. I've interviewed them both separately on the channel. I have interviewed them together about a year or so ago when they set up their company Trick Trick Boom. When I did the interview initially, it was before they'd even set up the company. Since then, they have literally taken the magic world by storm. They have won Trick of the Year. They were arguably the most popular magic stand at both the Blackpool Magic Convention 2024 and Magic Live 2024. They are, in my opinion, the most exciting production company in Magic right now. And that's because they're workers and they know what works in the real world, and their tricks are freaking awesome. This is a catch up. They've just brought out a brand new trick which is set to light up the world again. And we're going to talk about that and everything else that's been going on in their life. The one and only Roddy McGhie and Noel Qualter. Guys, how you doing?
Hey Craig, we're great. I mean, I'll be honest, we could stop at this exact point as that is such an incredible intro that I'll be honest, that
It's
is.
true, though, guys. It's true. I mean, I have been waxing lyrical on this channel for years about each one of you individually and how amazing you both are. And the two of you coming together and setting up a company, it was just destined for greatness. And that's what's happened. Like, it's a
Thank you.
no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. Of course, it was going to be successful.
Well, thank
Well,
you.
It's
no, we are
brilliant.
both humbled, and it's very nice. And but yeah, no, it's. I think we're so pleased with the way things have been for the first a year, which seems absolutely crazy. I think the
I
Mega
know.
was a year ago,
It's mad.
but it has
Mad.
absolutely flown by. And now, yeah, excited for the future. But yeah, we properly, yeah, it's graft, but we're loving it.
Okay, I want to talk about Trick Trick Boom, but first of all, let's before we talk about Trick Trick Boom, let's just reverse a little bit because the last interview I did with you guys, you were just setting up the company. Minibook Pro hadn't even come out. Nobody knew about it. They didn't even really know about Trick Trick Boom. I think the interview I did was when you were kind of announcing it.
Yeah.
Um, how has running this production company impacted you guys in terms of you're both busy performers? Noel, you're just everywhere. You are one of the most in-demand tech magicians, as far as I'm aware, and iPad magicians and so on and so forth. Like
Thank
both
you.
of
No, it's
you perform an awful lot. Like has running a production company like impacted your career as performers, or like how's it kind of gone?
Do you want to go first, Roddy, or shall I?
Yeah.
So,
The,
I'll go
that
first, and you have a little think.
yeah, okay. You go first. You go first and say all the good things, and then I'll just pour on all the negativity on it afterwards, right? Just give it a sprinkling of reality.
Yeah. Um, so it has been affected because uh, being a close-up magician is, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's very easy to take a back step and to be in neutral, coasting along, which I think not so away from the tech stuff. So I've done the tech stuff for the last sort of 7 or 8 years. Before then, for about 10 years, I think it's fair to say I was coasting and was doing. I was doing gigs when they came in. I was always pleased to do them. Tech stuff has rejuvenated that and made it more exciting, and I'm certainly more interested in doing stuff, and it ticks the boxes for me. But the truth is, before a show, once you've got the hang of doing those things, you have lots of free time. You can, like, certainly for a tech gig, I can spend weeks, sometimes months, working on some sort of an aspect of it that they are very keen to do. Yeah, okay, right, fine, I'll do it. But when I spend even weeks, I'm spending a couple of hours a day thinking about it every so often. But it's not full time job. When Trick Trick Boom, and me and Roddy didn't really know how it was going to work when it comes to dividing up the jobs. Like, we knew that we both had our own strengths, and some of them are strengths that we sort of mirror each other, and we're both good at. And then sometimes there are ones that one of us is less than, and like you don't want me making the gimmicks. Is sort of the headline here. So I have been more of sort of front of house stuff. and so the customer service side of it and speak to people on emails. So then Roddy's been more of the back end, firing in the coal into the machine that is Trick Trick Boom. But and then the creativity is the fun bit. But the truth is, we have to limit that because we are both absolute space cadets. And even though we would both love to think about magic tricks all the time, once in a while, one of us will say, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool if you could stick a banana in a rocket and it could float to whatever the crazy trick is, and it explodes and it reveals a thought of card or whatever, some crazy thing." And then we start thinking about that for a week. But if we do that all the time, we have no productivity because Roddy's killing himself making stuff, and I am, doing the other stuff and speaking to China and all the other bits and pieces. So yeah, it's been a culture shock. I am not used to the graft, and it's been a horrendous graft.
Yeah.
What about you, Roddy? Because you have had, because obviously, Noel, you've created magic in the past, but it's almost been a little bit of a side hustle for you. Like you weren't churning it out like Trick Trick Boom is. I don't mean that in a negative way. Like we'll talk about this in a bit, but everything you've brought out is amazing. But like before Trick Trick Boom, it would easily be 2 or 3 years, if not more, between Noel Qualter releases. Well,
I think it's like 5 years apart. Some of them, like most of the time, yeah.
But well, with you, Roddy, obviously because of your relationship with Penguin before Trick Trick Boom, you regularly were bringing out 5, 6 routines a year. So you were kind of more used to that. And I know that you've always taken pride in doing a lot of the gimmicks yourself. So has it changed for you as well, or is it being kind of...
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, obviously Penguin was good schooling for me, like 6 years there. And at the start, like, we've discussed this before, we had a kind of agreement that wasn't really going anywhere in the first year or two because, as Sean said, he's like, your stuff's great, but it's just ridiculous to manufacture, and it was quite often, it would be the case that I would submit a trick and I'd say, well, here's an idea. And they go, oh, that's awesome. How did you make that? And I'd say, well, there's this little McDonald's toy which I took apart and it had this little thing in it, which I glued onto a playing card, and there you go. And they're like, well, we can't manufacture that, right? It would just be some mad thing that was difficult to make. And the thing is, I never really considered my stuff was difficult to make because I'd think, well, that only took me half an hour to make. But then when you start scaling that up to, I would need to make 3,000 of these, it's not reasonable, right? So yeah, I learned a lot with Penguin. That was good schooling. But the difference now is that, I don't think I've ever worked harder in my life. I mean, I've had a lot of proper real jobs before I get into this whole magic business, and I've done a lot of some real tough jobs and stressful jobs. But man, this is it's a lot of work for not a lot of money. Put it that way. Just now, because the thing is, especially with every business in the first year, there's a lot of work to be done. And as much as Minibook was a massive smash hit success for us, and we were really, really happy at how successful it was, all the sort of profit, or any profit you make, you're put back into your company. You've got to build it over the couple of years. So it's been lean times. Let's put it that way. But it's also exciting because you're doing it for yourself, and yourself, Craig. You're the hardest working man in magic. That when you're doing it for yourself and it's you're the boss, then you make your own hours. And when that's the case, sometimes you're working like 18 hours a day and stuff like that. You're just churning it out. So as much as we had these big plans that we're going to drop Minibook, and then a couple of months after that we're going to have the next one, then the next one, and the next one, didn't really work that way. I mean, the reality of it is, as Noel said, he's taken up a big chunk of like dealing with all the social media stuff and all like the website and all the commerce and all the logistics basically. And whereas I'm just sat in a darkened room gluing magnets onto things sort of for 18 hours a day. So when it works, when you get down to the logistics of how many units you have to produce to release something, it's been nuts. It's been nuts. But at least for now, we're in a position where we can start to bring out the things that we've been working on over the last year, a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. This one will be next, but we've realised that. Well, I've certainly realised that it's maybe too much for me to handle, and I think we discussed this before. You and I have discussed this before about you have to you realise what's the best use of your time, and I've got to the stage now where it's like, right, I can't be spending 15 hours a day manufacturing the tricks. I need help. I need someone else to do that so that Noel and I can start working on what's going to be next. Because we don't want to get to that. Yeah, we get all these out, and then we're like, well, we've got dozens of half-baked ideas that'll need a couple of months' work. You've got to.
Because we want to be. Sorry, you finish with your point.
No, I'm just saying you've got to keep that momentum. You've got to keep that going, and we're just realising that now. We're just getting into our stride with it now. But we have so many things. I mean, the big difference I'd say is that Noel and I speak every single day, and I've done every day. I speak to Noel more than I speak to anyone else, including my wife. So yeah, that is the big difference. Every day we speak, and of course,
the world's worst affair. Yeah,
I know. And every day we will. Well, almost every day there's some, like you say, some wacky idea. What about this? Remember this thing? We've taken to actually we've got a Google Doc now where one of us has to, after the conversation, type into the Google Doc, or it'll get forgotten in the midst of time. So there's every now and then I look back in that.
Or the worst version, which has happened loads of times, is we've come back to a trick. We're like, remember this trick? And we're both going, and then we're like, there's a problem, and then we both spend ages going, we can solve this, and then a week later we go, shit, we did solve that before. We just didn't retain the last save. Like, that's what we're sort of joking, thinking we got past this. We did. What did we do? So it needs. When we were at Magic Live, Harry and Pete put us onto this little gadget, which I've completely forgotten. But hangs out on the back of your phone.
Yeah, that's great. I forgot about that as well.
So we'll find out what it is. I'll text Craig afterwards and put it on the screen. But it's a little thing. Put it on the back of your phone, and it will record the meeting basically, and give you minutes of the meeting. Roddy agreed to make this. Noel said he'd speak to China, whatever, that kind of thing, and that they agreed to look at the progress of this in a week, because it's just AI built, but it's so clever to
it's a cool little thing,
rambling along and turn it into a meeting.
But you are right, we do often. I like that analogy, but we do often sort of forget. We've lost our last save and we're back at level 2, and it's not until we've had like an hour's long discussion that we go, wait a minute, did I not say that we should do it? Yeah, of course, that's right. And then we're back at where we were at it. So yeah, we need to be better at that kind of thing. We need someone else in here in the mix to be sensible.
Yeah.
But we're getting there.
Well, it's good that you guys work well together, because that's the most important thing in a partnership. And you see a lot of partnerships that will split up because the two people don't get on. But I mean, you talk every day on the phone, you're constantly coming up with ideas, you're constantly pushing the business forward. I mean, that's probably one of the most important things, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's like obviously at some point when Noel sort of disappears and appears to have kind of like wandered off into the sea one day, then the police will be on the phone to me, and they'll probably be on the right track. But for now we're doing okay.
That's true.
I think it's more likely that he's going to finish me off, to be honest.
I'm not doing the drive to Glasgow. That's how you'll know.
Oh yeah. Actually, it's like, well, you get someone else to do. Let's put it.
I'll get someone local, a local.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. The truth is that the creativity side of it, people think, oh, that's the fun bit, and we both love it the most. That's and the best feeling in the world, which yourself, Craig, is the prototype day, when something's arrived, come down, and you're like, you know what, I can open this up, let's have a look at it. Sometimes it's crushingly disappointing, but that's what you live for. And we are at the moment having to say we can't do a creativity day, or we can't do a brainstorming silly shit thing, because we need to get on with the practical things, when we're filming the trailer, how we're doing it and things like that. Because if I said to Roddy, like right now, honestly, if the two of us had some idea, we couldn't even finish the conversation with you. We'd get so carried away that we're like, I'm so desperate to generate the trick, but we have to say no. We can't. We can't have that sort of that mad day, because it will distract both of us, and then Roddy will start making the thing, and then banging it back and forth, and then. So we have to sort of say strictly no. We have to.
Yeah.
Today is
No, you're right. There's nothing that beats that. You know that yourself, Craig, is someone who creates things. There's nothing that beats that dopamine rush of like when you have a spark of an idea, and then within half an hour you get that little light bulb moment. You go, oh, but that's and you suddenly realise that you've got something. And for me, I just have to instantly go. I start to construct it in my head, make the little kind of diagram in my head of how it's going to work. And I instantly have to make it no matter what. I mean, the house can be in fire, and I'll be like, I'll put a tea towel over my head so that I can run through the flames into my little room to make it. And you've got to make it, right? You've got to chase that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what dopamine rush. And it's not, there's nothing exciting or fun about making your 500th little hole gimmick. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing exciting about having to sit in front of the laser cutter for 10 hours just watching it cutting stuff. So you know what I mean? We would much rather be doing the fun stuff, but that is just the way it goes. We've got to be grown-ups now.
But Roddy's right. Is we've had this amazing year, and the future is us growing and getting eventually getting to a stage where Roddy can be head this might be some way away from us, but head of manufacturing and keeping an eye on stuff. And we've got the Penguin guys have got someone on the big old trestle tables. They might even be in separate parts of the country. One guy makes one process and sends it on or something like that.
But then it's I think if we do that, we'd have to rig up sort of chairs that I could administer shocks, remote controlling, because I'd rather have some sort of whip. But if they're going to be remotely, then they have to wear a kind of suit, a body shocking suit. So every now and again, I'll go, let's have a look at that. That's a bit offsetting.
He's not joking, I know he's not joking either.
That's slightly offsetting. Oh, please, Mr. McGhie, I'm sorry.
Mr. Burns, yeah.
Well, look, I want to talk about the future of the company, but first of all, let's just recap what you've done, because I don't think that I've seen a production company, and a lot of production companies come and go, in a big fanfare and disappear almost as quickly. I don't think I've seen a production company that's hit it out the park as much with their first release as you guys did. And what MiniBook Pro has done is it's captured the imagination of everybody, which is very difficult to do. And what I mean by that is the pros are using it. All the pros are using it. Like every time I go on a multi-magician job, everyone's got a MiniBook Pro. But also the hobbyists are using it. The people who perform socially are using it. The social media magicians are using it. It's very rare to get a trick that's universally accepted by almost every single type of performer within the magic community. And that is very rare. I don't think I've bought a trick out in my entire career that's achieved that. Ever. And MiniBook Pro has, which is phenomenal, really. Really.
It has.
Well, I would say Keymaster's a bit like that as well. But no, you're right. I think we were very lucky, but it was definitely by design as well, because we had, I know from the outside, right, if you don't really know Trick Boom very well, or it's just for MiniBook, then you won't be aware that maybe at Blackpool we had another 4 tricks out, and then at Magic.
Oh, we're getting to that. We had
another 5 tricks out. So we've had these tricks out as sort of pre-releases. I'm currently manufacturing all of them, so that we can start to bring them out. And as you know, one has just come out. So there's more to what we've been doing over the last year than MiniBook. But you're right. We looked at these and we looked at what we had, and we were like, right, MiniBook has to be the first release, because Noel and I loved it so much, and we felt the same way, that this is something that could be for everyone. because there was that, there's that fear of having to misdirect an audience and Mercury fold a card, right? That's a massive fear for a hobbyist, and for someone who's not a regular performer. They're like, "Oh, that's not for me. That's like the big league stuff." So that's why our tutorial was so lengthy. Not by your standards, right? But by normal people's standards, right? It was a long tutorial. We couldn't believe how long it was. We kept saying, "God, how's that happen? Can we chop?" We were chopping bits off, and it was still. But it was because we wanted to make it really clear to people that we have. This is the trick to learn misdirection magic, and this is the trick to learn the Mercury fold, because honestly it's almost bulletproof. This is close to self-working as it can get, kind of thing. So I think that's why a lot of people embraced it eventually, especially hobbyists, that it had all the impact of a big professional, working magician's trick, but without all the work that you have to do really normally for that kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was certainly by design. We were like, Minibook has to be the first one. We both had so much faith in it, and I honestly couldn't believe how well it was received. That I was delighted. So
No, it's true. It's like one of the things I think in years to come that there will be when people, the Magic Cafe of the future, or maybe even the Magic Cafe or whatever the forum is at the time, and someone is saying, "Hi, I'm new to doing restaurant magic. The year is 2035, and I've got my extreme burn hologram or whatever will be the opener 10 years from now." And people say, what are the tricks I should do? What are those core pieces? And there are tricks that there's not many the tricks that are talked about now. There's classics, cups and ball, or chop cup, and or chop, or all those things. But there's not many tricks that are going to be remembered in 10 years' time that are still going to be the arsenal of pros. Yeah. And also that amateurs are still going to be recommended it as well. Because most tricks, as you well know, they have the first week, everyone loves it. Then the second-hand stuff starts, and then it's dead stock to a magic shop 3 months later. Minibook still sells
exactly
bananas every week. It is, and there's obviously refills, and I know that no one really, no pro ever really wants to get involved with a trick that's got refills if they can avoid it, because even if you're being paid 500, 600, 700 quid to do something, you still begrudge paying 30p a go for something, unless it is like rocket fuel.
Yeah, unless it's worth it. Yeah.
And if you do Minibook once, be like, well, I guess I'm doing this trick forever, and that's why we wanted to make the refills inexpensive. So yeah, we've sold a ton of those.
Yeah, and it continues to sell. You are right. It is going to be one of those tricks, and you see it on the forums. You see it, like, it's been out over a year now, and everybody just talks about it and raves about it, and constantly. Yeah, it's great.
It's tough. You're right. That's this whole thing. The way the magic industry is that we're the dealers have created it themselves, though. It's this whole kind of need to feed the machine, and it's like a trick. People can be talking about it and hyping it for like a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, and then it comes out and it has a few days of the furious buying, and then suddenly the magic dealers are left with boxes of stock of it, because the next trick has come out 2 days later and everyone wants that one, and then they want that one, and they want that one, and it's just the nature of it, unfortunately. But we are in that now. We are in that whole dirty dealer thing, but in a good way. We're never going to bring out anything that we don't think is a 10 out of 10. Do you know what I mean?
Because we Roddy have thought of 7 out of 10 tricks, right? And then we'll go, you know what? We've said, I reckon most people will be happy with this, and we won't settle for that, and we will.
But then it's ridiculous, because we give her even tricks we've done already, right? Keypad being a good example. It's like we were like, well, let's just do this. This is a thing we could do, right? And this might be. Some people might like it, and we'll put that out. That'll be all right. But no, we just worked on it and worked on it. We made it better and better. Discards was the same. That was just like, let's do this, and I was like, oh, you know, I feel like it needs this, and then it became 2 tricks in one. But it's just so much more work for me to make the thing. It's like it's so much more work, and you know, but it's worth it, right? Because we want people to get, you know, value for money. We want people to love the stuff we're putting out. I mean, it's not
We
going
want
to
to
be
over
for
deliver.
everyone.
Over deliver is sort of one of our things for us,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that doesn't
yeah.
have to
That's
be
it.
in like Roddy's talked about, discards, which we'll talk about later. But that is basically 2 tricks in one, and most magic dealers would say we're insane for the effort that goes into producing that, and that it is a horrendous faff to make that trick. But
But
like,
hey,
we wanted it to be exceptional, and we want to over deliver, whether that be in like with Minibook. That's why it's got the appy, the techie side of it of producing it. That's not necessary. I know
No,
plenty of
if,
people
if you didn't
pay
have
out
that
their
app,
pocket.
nobody would have moaned about it.
No one would go.
yeah.
I'm disgusted. It's still a 9.75 out of 10 trick without that.
And what
But
a pain that was, especially doing the Android version. Oh God, I'm so glad you took the reins on all that, because that was,
yeah,
you know,
but all these things. But that's why me and Roddy will have these crazy days where like Adam would go, we've got to solve it. And if we can't solve it, sometimes things get put on the Google Doc to be looked at again in the future, and then we make progress 6 months later. And sometimes things just stay in that eternal state. We've got things, great ideas, really good ideas that are on the way, but they might need time, and sometimes they might never get a look in again, because me and Roddy's favourite thing is the most recent idea. Whatever crazy shit we've had,
yeah,
we're
yeah.
like, oh my god, let's run like lunatics towards the horizon. We are just sprinting. Well, as close as
No,
either of
no.
us get to sprinting, but
Of just pushing your other children out of the way. I've got a new one.
yeah.
Yeah.
No one. Everyone's thinking. I thought you said you were working on this yesterday. Going, yeah, it was yesterday. Screw yesterday. Now,
Yeah.
now we've got a
Yeah.
new one.
Wow.
Exactly.
But I want to ask you a question. And for people that don't know, um, uh, when you see a trick in magic shops all over the world, it's because it's gone into Murphy's Magic, who is the world's largest wholesaler, and they will wholesale that trick out to everybody all over the
Yeah.
world. And that's what happened with Minibook Pro, right? You guys put it into Murphy's. It went to every single magic shop in the world. Every magic shop was pushing it. Every magic shop was selling it. Every magic shop was selling out. And that created a buzz about the trick and about you guys. And everyone was like, oh my God, Trick, Trick, Boom. What are they going to bring out next? What are they going to bring out next? And then the next thing was Blackpool. And you had a bunch of stuff. And I would say, by the way, that you probably had one of the busiest and the most successful stands at Blackpool. Everybody was going, have you seen Trick Trick Boom? Have you been over there? And I know every time I walked past you guys, you were standing up, you were kicking ass, you were doing the thing. You see a lot of stands where everyone's just sitting down. I got to a point on Penguin where like this. I was sitting down. Like you guys were just like constantly just pushing yourself out there. And I think that had a massive impact on. I spoke to a lot of people and they said Trick Trick Boom was the #1 stand at Blackpool, bar none, both in terms of quality of, both in terms of everything. So you had this big, like, you had this big presence of Blackpool, which was amazing. And you had a bunch of tricks that you're on your stand. How come you didn't put them straight into Murphy's there and then? Because they're amazing. What made you kind of bring them out at Blackpool, kind of make them exclusive for that? Was there a particular reason behind that?
Well, for me, like so I've been a connoisseur of Blackpool and the hustle of Blackpool, and both being a punter and being a dealer, and also having love and admiration for people like Alakazam and Mark Mason, and almost the art of a release. And you can any day this week, someone could, a wet Wednesday afternoon, someone could release a trick. Right? Hasn't got that power. There's something. I showed an early prototype of Bliss to Henry White at Prop Dog, and it was a 3D printed one. And I was just going along in a slow journey with it, and he said, "That is a Blackpool release." And it was at that exact moment I went, "Oh, because tricks you can release, and then there are tricks you can release at Blackpool, and that has got that extra push. That means something more special, because that says to them, we as a magic shop stand by these releases." I also know when I go to the Mark Mason stand, he would have pretty much guaranteed 4 new tricks every year, guaranteed. And that excitement, when you go there, you go to magic, to a stand, and they say, "Oh yeah, we've got 1 new trick." Okay, cool. And you either do or don't like it. But when someone says, "We have super served you, we've got all of these tricks," you like that, you like that. We keep hitting it, home run, home run, home run. The reason why they didn't all go, to distribution is simply because we did want to produce excitement. We did want, but then the main reason is we didn't have enough units. We still don't have enough stock of those tricks to do a big release, because Little Holes, which we'll get to, I don't know if Roddy's made it clear, but is quite a lot of effort to make, and a phenomenal amount of effort, which he'll tell you about. But it's a phenomenal amount of effort, which means that we are a 2-man band, but Roddy is doing 99% of the manufacturing, sort of busy work and things like that. And that means that if we had a team of 4 or 6 people and we had this big old gimmick factory, we might have been out of that position. I would have liked us to have had, when I spoke to you a year ago and I said, "Yeah, we're going to be banging out tricks every few months." And the truth is, we had Minibook, the refills, which are the part of it, and then as part of that sort of Minibook ecosystem, we had the wallet as well. But that doesn't count as a trick release. But things we were working on, and behind the scenes, we're killing ourselves. But people are like, "Oh, why aren't you guys?" It is exciting when you get emails from people saying,
"Sorry, that's my fridge making mad noises. Sorry about
that." That's okay. I can't hear anything.
That's okay. It's just the ice. But yeah, we get emails from people saying, "When's this coming out? When's that coming out?" And we're like, honestly,
because they've seen it on a video or Harry Nardi walking around or something like that, or you or someone, and we want that. It's everyone's in the business of selling stuff, but I also want to tell people, listen, be cool. When the moment comes, I know, you look at someone like the Magic Cafe. If someone starts the hype train too soon for a trick, I think it can be damaging, because I think people go, "Oh, I've been hearing about this for ages. I'm really pissed off. 4 months ago they said this was coming." People just get the arse ache because they go,
exactly, and it's never going to. Expectations get too high, and then it's got such high expectations to live up to because it's been hyped for so long and stuff. I mean, you're right. I think the simple answer is we made 100 of everything or thereabouts, maybe not quite that many, and we just pretty much sold all of them at Blackpool of everything. So we couldn't really do deals with people. But you're right, Murphy's was a decision we made to put us on the map, kind of thing, to get us known. You're right. It's another world, isn't it? It really is another world that, as a consumer of magic, that you're not aware of, that Murphy's do this.
Also, I think a lot of the choices, because we are called Trick Boom, and it's a name, but it's also this ethos. It means powerful, not just powerful magic, but powerful statements. Big, ballsy, massive, thumping tricks, but delivered in a big way, and not just I don't know. I'm trying to think of a small trick. I don't know. I've got a trick with a pin badge or something like that, and it's whatever a small little. I've got this. You might like it. We want to go. We've got absolute bangers, and we can back it up. And if you don't believe us, watch us, and you will be crazy. And we don't want to be soft and small. We want to be powerful and big and roaring at the stand.
Yeah. But I mean, Blackpool. I mean, you're right. It was nuts. We were like, I mean, I've been, as you know, I've done Blackpool. I've been a dealer at Blackpool with Penguin for years. I can't remember the last time I went as a punter. I've not seen a lecture in about 8 years. But this was different gravy on
That's
the.
a shift, isn't it?
It was nuts. It was nuts, and we were so pleased. And I think it's that whole draw as well. Like Noel said, that it's the allure of the new and the unique, and just something new. That's what it is. And we had this big bold yellow stand that all the tricks were new, pretty much. So that's very, for a consumer, and for Blackpool, it's very tempting to come up and see that. That's the stand you want to go and look at. What I certainly do as a punter.
Absolutely. And then off the back of Blackpool, you went over to Magic Live with the same selection of tricks and another one. And you killed it again. Like I don't think anyone could argue that the buzz was squarely on the Trick Boom stand. I mean,
oh, thank you.
Well, sorry, I'm plugging my phone in here. Plugging this in.
No, Magic Live was like another world. I'd been as a punter 15 years ago, and it was great, and I had a really good time. And
first time for me.
And Roddy, first time, yeah. And I wanted us to go, and we're like, you know what? It's a ton of money, a ton of effort. But again, when I always come back to the name of the company is Trick Boom, and that's powerful and big. And even though there are plenty of magic conventions, there are loads of great days, and the Ipswich Cavalcade of Conjuring or whatever, just one day things. There isn't a convention called that, but small things. There should be a convention called that, but there isn't.
Yeah, there is now.
But the two big powerhouses, the ones the equivalent of sort of London and Paris Fashion Week. I mean, I know it's not the same, but you get the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Is Blackpool, and in middle of miserable February and August in Vegas and Magic Live, because that's where people release killers. That's the impact dealers go to. Maybe not everyone, but 99%. Everyone's at Blackpool, and 95% of big dealers who matter are at Magic Live, and everything else is just you might be there, but those ones are massive.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, 100%. And being at those conventions was probably, as much as it was great that people were like buying your tricks and you were selling out of everything, it's also the fact that you're building your brand. You're making a statement. You're there. You're like, hey, this is who we are. We're not going anywhere. We're big, and it's happening. I mean, the stand and everything spoke volumes.
Yeah, it was you're right. It's just been visible. It's like, look, we're here, and we're making a statement. We're part of this now. Look out! It was a bit hot though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it takes a while for people to go, oh yeah, they're my guy. I've heard about them. I've seen them. Or as me and Roddy found at Magic Live, we had every third person was screaming how much they loved Minibook and loved it. But they really just came to the stand to say how much they love Minibook, and they couldn't believe that we had not just one more trick, but 5 other tricks they could look at, because I think they probably just thought, oh yeah, they've come from England just to hawk more of a trick that everyone loves. You go, well yeah, we got them, but we also have come to play, and we have got other absolute 10 out of 10 bangers.
Yeah, and on the subject of those 10 out of 10 bangers. Finally, after being officially released at Blackpool, the McGhie sweatshop has managed to fire up to the point that you've got enough little holes to be able to put this out to the world. So this is going into Murphy's, right? I love that. This is going into Murphy's. It's going to be available for more. No,
this
is direct from you.
Just from us at the time being, it may be, well, maybe it will be available elsewhere, but from now you can just get it from us. So
now let's talk about this, because it's officially released. You can get it now directly from the Trick Boom website. I didn't realize it was anywhere else. It wasn't anywhere else. That's even more exciting. This is obviously the follow-up to what a lot of people consider to be your best trick of all time, Roddy, which is Little Door.
Yeah.
And I was having a conversation. Who was the conversation with? I was having the conversation with Wayne. Do you know Wayne Goodman? I was having the conversation.
Yeah, I know Wayne.
Obviously, he brought out Look Sharp years ago.
Mhm.
And I said to him, I said, do you think you're ever going to like beat Look Sharp as a creator? And he's like, no, that's the trick that's defined me. I don't think I'm ever going to beat it. For me, I think it's Chop or Keymaster. Everybody always comes back to Chop and they always come back to Keymaster. Doesn't matter what I bring out in the future. If you ask everybody, it's always Chop and Keymaster that they say first.
Yeah.
And it's always been, you put some incredible magic out over the years.
No, thank you.
Everybody, Little Door has been timeless. Like, because of how insane it is. And this, and I've had a conversation with you about this, you think this is even better than Little Door. So,
well, I mean, sorry, carry on. What were you...
No, I want to know. I want to know all about this because this is now available to buy. This is exciting. I want to know, you know.
Well, you're right. It's like every track that I've ever released since Little Door has been my difficult second album, and yeah, I'll never top it as a good track. But this is, yeah, I consider this like Little Door's cousin pretty much, which is why we call it Little Holes, right? I know it kind of tips. The surprise of the track is that the dots become holes, so it kind of tips it, right? The kind of climax of the track. But I wanted to call it Little Holes, and I came up with it at the same time as Little Door. So what, 12 years ago, something like that. I had Little Door and I was messing about with a similar idea. And it's weird because it's like when I look back, I look at them two together, they've got similar kind of beats to them, they've got a similar kind of vibe to them, really. And back, like I went through so many different variations of what the gimmick was like. And the original one was way over engineered. It was ridiculous. It was silly. And I just couldn't get it where I wanted it to be. And I abandoned it, really. I thought, well, no, this one with the Little Door, this one works really well. Let's just do this. It was kind of like I didn't know which was going to be the trick. Do you know what I mean? Am I going to draw dots and move them and then they're holes, or am I going to draw a door and open it and then wipe it off? And that one won, right? So Little Holes kind of get left behind, as many tricks do. You know, it was like back in the time when I used to write in my little magic book and draw lots of pictures and that. I was showing all that the other day that I found it, and
Let's go in the museum. That is.
like there's so much stuff in it that I have no idea what it is. Like intricate drawings that I'm like, I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that means. It's like hieroglyphics, you know. But anyway,
you better figure it out because that is all of that is gold. So
no, it's not. Probably about 80% of it, or like 90% of it's dross. But anyway, so that was it. It was abandoned, and then it was Eric Stevens talking like. So I started talking to Eric online, and we just used to kind of like send each other videos, and then we'd video chat and kind of sort of jam, to magic jam online and stuff. And I was actually on holiday down south with my family down at way down the south coast, and and it was one night, everyone was in bed, and I'm doing a video call with Eric talking about magic as you do. And he showed me a trick and it was a sort of whole matrix thing. And I was like, man, I've got a trick like that. And I explained Little Holes, and I was like, that's really that's made me want to look at that again. And we talked about it for a while, and I was like, right, as soon as I get home, I need to show you this. I'll dig out the prototype and I'll show you. And that's what I did. As soon as I got home, went searching, found the prototype. I showed him it, and he was like, "That's cool, man." I was like, "I'm going to work on this now," and that was it. And then Little Holes came about that way. I mean, it was pretty much down to Eric sort of going, "What about that?" and me going, "Yeah, I've got one of those. I've got one of those in the garage." And yeah, it just came from there. And there was it went through a few different iterations, and then I was going to do it with Penguin, and then it was this conversation with Seth, who you know is a genius, and Seth was like, "What about this? What about changing it this way?" Because I had the way I had the gimmick was slightly different, and he'd suggested a change to it, and that took it in a different direction, and now it is what it is, kind of thing. So yeah, don't really know what else to say about it. I mean, I still, yeah, it's I would say it's Little Door's cousin. Like I say, it's got the same beats, because the thing like with Little Door is, over the last couple of years performing it. Yeah, this is a weird thing. I added something to Little Door that is nothing but made it something, right? So it's you know, you're familiar with the routine. You talk about whatever, how they could see your card, and you draw the little door and then you open it. And then you close the little door and you take the cards out and you rub it off and you hand them the box, right? So what I started doing a couple of years ago, it was like all the best things that happen in tricks are from your audience. They feed you the best lines and all the rest of it, right? And it was a couple of years ago I was performing it, and a guy said, "Can I open the door?" And I was like, "Sure." And I put the deck out to him and he opened it. And like when he went to open it, other people were like, "Oh, I bet he can't open it." And then when he did, they went, "Oh my God." And I thought that is weird, right? So I do that every time now. I open it, I close it, and I say to someone, "Do you want to open it?" And there's this weird expectation that gets built up that people think they're not going to be able to open it, and that'll be the trick. But then when they can open it, they go, "Oh," and they think it's like, you get an extra beat for nothing. You've done nothing, but you get this extra beat. And sometimes if they've got very dry fingers, they can't open the door. And then you go, "No, it's easy. You just do this and you open it." And for some reason, that becomes a magic trick. Now they're like, "Oh my God," because they couldn't do it. Just a weird nothing becomes something in that trick, and it elevates it a little bit more. What I found with Little Holes was I was doing it where I was just moving all the little dots and then taking out and going, "It's a black card, they're holes." But once I added that bit where I took the last hole on, I said, "You just throw it on there and the last dot appears as if they've thrown it on." Oh my God, all of a sudden, it was, you're not doing anything different that you were doing with the other three dots, but all of a sudden it's like a big thing and it really elevates the trick. So yeah, it's got a very similar kind of structure to Little Door, where you're building this expectation of, "I've drawn this thing, but now the thing has animated in some way, and now the thing is not what you thought it was at the start." So it's very close to Little Door in that respect. I'm just rambling now. Somebody jump in here and stop me.
No, you're not. No, you're not. It's
Look,
fascinating to
if
hear
anyone
that.
has Little Door, that's great stuff. If it's not on the instructions, that you know, that moment of
Getting them to
events.
do it, you just make sure you're, like properly make sure you're holding the deck, and you just get them to open the door. Honestly, it's weird. It's another beat. The trick gets another beat, and it just, it's just so odd. What sometimes as magicians, like, I like to think that I think like a layperson still, but which I probably don't. Right, I probably don't. But you get those little moments when you're working tricks, those little, like you've always said, Noel, that the best lines are usually given to you by your audience, and I always kind of, like, I always keep them and use them. Like, every time I have someone choose a card and I turn away, I say, "Well, I'll show it to everyone else, I'll turn away." I always say, because somebody said it to me, like I said, "Look, I'll turn away," and this guy said that, "Yeah, like it matters that I would turn round." So I say that every time now, and sometimes only a couple of people at the table hear me, and quite often it gets a laugh. I say, "Right, show it to everyone. I'll turn it round. I'll turn round like it matters." And then they go, "Ho ho ho," and you get a laugh from it and stuff. But there's loads of lines like that I use that I just got from people saying it.
That's
You
great.
know. But yeah, Little Holes was, like I say, it's Little Door's sort of second cousin.
And you know what? I said that there's
Well,
not.
we're twins almost. They were born at the same time, so.
Well, when we were talking about Minibook Pro, and I said it's one of those tricks that appeals to every single sort of group in the magic community. Little Door is exactly the same, and I believe Little Holes will be as well. Social media magicians will love to do it. Giggers will be. It's a very practical routine to do, and has so many practical aspects to it. It is super commercial, but also it's the sort of thing that you would love to do if you're a hobbyist. It's one of those rare tricks that will be kind of performed.
Well, I'll tell you something about it, right? Which is, something about this trick which makes it very difficult to film a trailer for is that you want those trailers, and as Noel's favourite expression, you want to see their dental work, right? You want to see people losing it, David Blaine style at the track and stuff like that. What Little Holes does is when you perform it, there's there's some laughs along the way. There's some little fakes, with the cellophane and stuff. The bit where they throw the dot on gets a big whoa. But when you hand people the deck at the end and it's just 4 holes in the box, then people aren't going, oh my God, they're going like this. They're staring at the box, they're looking at you, they're looking at the box, they're looking at their friends, they're going.
It's a Paul Harris moment, isn't it? It's their brain is melting.
They've got so much to process because what you've done is you've drawn on 4 dots, then you've moved them individually, and then you've taken the cards out and said they're not dots, they're holes in the box. They're just going, what? So really hard. I mean, you don't want a trailer of loads of people going, what? It's not exciting. But not every trick has to be. Not every trick has to be. Oh my God! You want a trick that's going to get in there like a little worm into their brain, so that by the time you've left, you can see some smoke coming out of their ears. And I know that I do this at my residency all the time. When I see people a couple of weeks later, they will mention it. They'll go, because they've went away and they've thought about it. That thing with the dots, where it was the holes, it's one of those tricks. So it was hard to drill down on a big bombastic trailer for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I always think there's different types of tricks that magicians do, and some tricks I always think of them as sort of cheap pops to put a wrestling sort of spin on it. So I love sponge balls and I love omnideck and all those good things, and double cross is also in that. Or maybe double cross isn't in that same category, but sponge balls, for example, is when the spectator opens up their hands and they find there is 2 balls in their hand, they're going to go absolutely mental. They will scream and shout, and it will be boisterous, and there's an explosion of energy. But then in the car going home, someone's going to say, I mean, only thing I can think, maybe he put another one in there. Because I don't think it is a trick that will fool them for the rest of their life, as great as it is. And then you have these tricks like Little Holes, which is a trick on the drive home the next day, a week later, a month later. If they think about it, they're still processing and still going, I'm so deeply full to my absolute core, and not just, like I said, if a deck turns into a plastic block, as great as that is, and as screaming monstrous reactions as you will get from Omnideck, there's only one method, and I'm not saying that they know it at that moment, but you ask them the next day and say, listen, there's 100 quid in it, how's that trick done? They'll tell you.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, though, is it with magic tricks, is that people, magic becoming more powerful in the retelling is because people subconsciously don't want to admit that they were fooled by, oh, he switched it in his pocket, right? Like, no, he absolutely did not do that. That deck of cards was in my hands the whole time, because their brain doesn't want to admit that they were fooled at that point. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, Little Holes is it's definitely a head scratcher for sure. I mean, I thought method-wise, I always like to drill down to the simplest I can do it, right? The simplest method. But when I showed it to other magicians, and I've sent videos to the likes to Mark Elston and Steve Faulkner, and people I was friends with at the time that I sent videos of it to, Adam Wilber and that, they were all just going, what? And I was surprised that I fooled everyone with it, and I was like, no, it's just pretty simple. Pretty simple. But then once I told people the method, I was chasing that endorphin thing of fooling magicians again. So I made a second phase of it. I'm sure I showed you it.
Yeah.
There's a second phase thing for it, and it was like this insane gimmick that stuck to the box. The holes would all move about visually as you moved the box. They would jump to the corners and jump back and stuff like that. And I still love that. But when I showed it to Penguin, they went, oh. It's so complicated. The gimmick was so ridiculous. I stayed up all night making that. Like my wife and kids had gone to Alton Towers, I think, and I stayed up right through to like all night, right through like a whole 24 hours, and right into the next day making this thing. And it will never see the light of day because it's ridiculous. But it was just so that I could show it to the guys that had already shown little holes. I was like, right, you've seen that. Now this. Anyway, again, I am rambling. I'm rambling on here.
So, before we move off Little Hole, it is Little Holes. It is available.
Yeah.
How has the McGhie sweatshop worked out? Like, is there going to be limited stock? Are people going to be disappointed if that? Like, I don't want it to be a whole fear of loss thing, but like, is there a possibility that this thing is going to sell out and it's going to be a while before you get more in stock?
Well, we did sell out. Like in America, like the ones we had in America, we sold out in the first day, kind of thing. We vastly underestimated how popular it would be, but we managed to get another 100 sent out there, another couple of boxes sent out there almost immediately.
Literally in the last hour, they've arrived at the destination. So,
but yeah, I mean, if I have to stay up all night, then yeah, I will cover them. But yeah, we're okay for now. But yeah. I mean, that's the thing when you've seen the trick, Craig. You know how how it works and all the business of it. It looks like a pretty simple, straightforward build, right? And as I said, method-wise, I like to go for the simplest, most direct, easiest to perform method. But man, there's a lot of process involved in making these. You know, there's a lot involved in it, from laser cutting the box to the little pieces that all go together, and there's a lot involved. I always again, that's the thing I've learned over this last year. I go, so I'm not one of those out in a few minutes. But really, when I break it down, I go, oh no, well, that bit took 10 minutes, that bit took another 10 minutes, and then that bit took 5 minutes, and then that bit, and then you go, right, okay, I'm up to 20 minutes now just to make one gimmick, and I've got to make 2,000 of them. It's it's a learning curve. But yeah, let's just say there's not mega limited stock, fairly limited stock at the moment, but I'm working on it. So if you want it right now, get in there. If you're willing to wait a bit longer, then don't worry, that we'll get there eventually. I don't really know what else to say other than that.
That's great. It's gonna go great guns. It's an amazing trick, and it's cool that you're actually.
It's certainly when it does sell out, which it will do. When it does sell out, at that point, then you are going to be waiting a fair while, because, as we've said and Roddy said, is we've got all these other tricks to come.
Yeah, we've got the other thing going on.
You know, there'll be further runs of this trick because there'll be huge demand for it, and then you are looking at a considerable wait, because you know, we're going to have to focus on the other tricks that are coming down the pipe. So yeah, get in now without too much FOMO, but get in now if you're interested in the trick.
Well, that's the next question. You're talking about all these other tricks. When are we going to see these find the light of day? Are they going to be coming out exclusively through Trick Boom? Are they going to be going out through other magic dealers? Like, what's your strategy in terms of that?
Well, I think so. We hope to. We're in catch-up mode now, so we want to. We have not been resting on our laurels. Roddy definitely hasn't. I haven't either. Roddy definitely hasn't. So,
bearing in mind, by the way, Noel, before you carry on, you're not too far away from mid-October, which, as a close-up magician, from mid-October until the end of December.
Oh, I'm fully aware of the insanity that's about to come. And the truth
Don't worry, I'm fine. I hardly ever get hired over Christmas. Weirdly, I've got a New Year's gig, but that's it. But I'll be fine. Don't worry.
Sally, also, you'll be at the table saying, "Can I pass out some gimmicks? And can you all, while I show you a trick, can you also crack on and make?"
Here's the trick right now. Everyone gets 4 magnets. And,
a little workshop.
Yeah, and
that's not a bad idea. The Roddy McGhie Magic Workshop, and we could offer that, and then we get some.
Yeah, do that as a lecture. I'm going to teach you all how to make these discards. So everyone gets all the materials they need, and I'll just walk around and go, yeah, that's good job, and all that. And then at the end, I just shovel them all into a bag and go, thanks for coming. Take them up the road. That's a good idea.
But we are playing catch up. We hope to have at least one more release before the end of the year after Little Holes.
Yeah, but I'd say we're definitely
definitely going to have one more release.
Yeah, I've started working on it already. I've started working on it, and it will be. Oh, I think, yeah, definitely, because I think it's only going to take me a couple of weeks to finish off what needs to be done for that. But as Noel said, we've got all the trailer and instructions and all that business. Have we done? Did we do that already? No, we didn't do the trailer.
Yep. No, we haven't done we haven't done the trailer, and we haven't done the instructions. We've done the quick.
Oh, we did the Magic Live instructions in the hotel room. I remember that, vaguely.
But then, we'll figure that out. That doesn't sound like that doesn't sound like a conversation for now, but we will figure out that.
Yeah, I know. I'm just forgetting that there might be 2 people watching this. Jesus. Well, you know, if you're still watching this, by the way, well done for staying the course, because it's like. I think at least 2 of us that can barely keep their eyes open. So well done for staying the course.
I know this is going to be a very popular Talk Magic because people love you. People love the both of you working together. You have made such an impact on this industry, more than I'm very good. You mentioned Adam Wilbur earlier on. Very good friends with Adam Wilbur. I've known Adam for years. Obviously, he launched Volpine working with Felix, and he's just Volpine's now just gone away. They've gone their separate ways.
I'm so sad about that. I love Volpine. I really did.
So did I, but I mean, I don't think they had the impact that Trick Trick Boom have had.
That's
I just don't think they have.
Well, it's tough, man. It is tough. I get it. I get why maybe Volpine just didn't make it, or because it's tough. In this first year, we've had to ask ourselves a lot of serious questions, and this is it's a very niche industry, but it's very competitive, and it's like you can bring out a great track, another great track, but the next bad track you bring out can sink you. You know what I mean? You can be gone, and you bring out one track that has some, it doesn't go down well for some reason, or there's some controversy surrounding it. Then you can be sunk. You can be out of there. And
well, you're talking about somebody who released a lot of Magic 15 years ago, brought out Red, and then ended up basically leaving the community for a decade.
Yeah,
so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
it happened to me.
Exactly. It's cutthroat, man. This business is properly cutthroat. It really is. And I think it's because it is so niche. It's like there's a lot of sharks just vying for that one little fish. Do you know what I mean? So as much as there's a lot of really, really fantastic, lovely people in this industry, then there's a lot of people who aren't so nice as well, who would be quite happy to see you sunk. So it's tough.
But yeah, we have made an impact, and I think that is down to hopefully we did it the right way. We launched with a killer trick that thankfully the world loved and carries on loving, and then after that is that romantic notion that goes, you know what, they've got new stuff, not just one thing, a bunch of stuff. It's like I said, always our hallmark is over deliver. Just when they go, they can't possibly beat that, and you go, yeah, we can, and we've got tons more coming down the line. Because in order for people to think these guys are a viable, not just well done them for being an indie and giving it a go. We want to be up there, because I'll be honest, I've put my life savings into to this, and we are we're winning, but we want to be proper players in the industry, and the only way to do that, killer tricks. And do everything right. You can't, like Roddy said, you can afford smaller mistakes, but one big mistake could be enough to absolutely nail you to the wall. That's why I want the tricks to be bulletproof. Both in method and originality and innovation and presentation and everything, all the categories. If you're creating a magic trick, I always think of it like top trumps. And you go, you know what? Let's say you had a trick and you go, oh yeah, it's the most amazing thing in the world. It's this, that, and the other. And if you get to the end and it says, and it just requires intermediate sleight of hand skill, you go, oh, you've just gone, it's just dropped, you know, dropped like a stone. It doesn't make it dead. It just means that 10% of magicians can do it. So if it's trying to find the trick that requires, the dream trick to sell is commercial, innovative, completely different, surprising, unlike anything else, with zero sleight of hand, that's no props or small amount of props, with easy stuff to manufacture. And if you can get some of those things, I don't think anyone's ever got all of those things, but if you can get some of those things, then
that's definitely, they are definitely lessons that I learned at Penguin for sure. You know, because I would submit things to Penguin back in the day, and I go, so this is this and this, and then at this point you just do a half pass, and they go, oh, la 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 la. No, you can't have that. And I'd be like, oh, it's just a half pass, but you do it undercover, and no, get rid of that. Yeah, you just have to knock out every sleight out of it. I mean, I used to obviously been getting into magic in Glasgow and going into Roy's shop every week, and I was heavy into the card magic and into the moves and into all sorts of diagonal palm shifts and the like. But it all gets thrown out the window when you're trying to be commercial, because, like you say, it's got to be for everyone or as many people as possible. But we're never going to just be like pandering to the market though. But I suppose we are in a way that we want to give people what they want, but also I'm never ever going to let go of that. Like when I first started creating magic, and it's still the case, I created it for me, right? So like when I first started making magic, it was like, I need this in my close-up act. I need something that happens here, and I need a thing that's kind of like this. So I would make it, and I had no desire ever to sort of release it and share it with other magicians or whatever. It was stuff for me. But then I ended up going down that road, which is a long story. But we're never going to let go of that. I'm never going to lose that. Like everything I put out is I do. Like my this little holes here that I use. This is the one I use. It's so doggy that I've been using it for so long. I perform all these tricks and I continue to do them. And if we ever release a trick that I don't feel could make it into my close-up set, then it's not going out. It's not for me. Do you know what I mean? So we want to give people what they want, but we kind of want to give people what we want as well, which sounds weird, but you know what I mean.
Well, it's got to tickle us as well, because me and Roddy, like every one of these tricks that we have either put out or have been on the journey with, we've put hundreds of hours both into the manufacture, but the thought and the process. Not one of them has been oh great, if we take one of those and glue that to that, then that's done. Endless prototypes, hundreds of hours on the phone, emails back and forth, samples, just nothing.
You just get a feeling that something's not, like with Minibook. We were like, Noel was like, right, this is ready to go, man. This is ready to go. We just need to just iron out a few creases. And man, we spent a lot of time ironing, because we do, like every time I went to a gig, I'd be like, the whole way in the car, no music on, 2 hours driving to a gig, just thinking about, right, what if I do this, this, and this, and this? I'll routine it this way. Just thinking about it, getting that routine out. And then I'd go there, and then on the way back, I'd be on the phone to Noel, giving him a breakdown, going, well, I tried this, and that didn't really work, and I tried that, and that bit seemed to work. But then this bit was a bit weird, and then Noel would be like, okay, right, noted, let's try this and try that. And
fucking important, because the amount of things that I review where you can just tell it's a brain fart and they've never worked it in the real world in their life, because if they had, they would have realized the glaring mistakes that are made in the product. You don't see that with anything that you guys have ever bought out before Trick Trick Boom or now. It's been worked in everything has been thought through, which is why I think it appeals so much to workers, because you've thought all the problems through and fixed them and then said, here it is. You don't have to do anything. Just do what we do and it's going to work.
Yeah.
Well, I
Well,
think
I hope so.
Go on, you say.
No, I was just saying, I hope that's the case. I mean, I've certainly put tricks out with Penguin over the years that I don't know if they would exactly tick that box, that people are like, yeah, that's like a kind of thing that, you know, it's clever, but is it workable and stuff like that? But they were always tricks that worked, you know. They might have had a bit more difficulty because you'd have to palm a little piece off or something like that. But yeah, sorry, you go and say what you were going to say, because I just
I was going to say,
I went off on one there.
for me, like the obviously coming at it as workers, we want it to be commercial. We want people to be able to perform it. We want people to be excited about it. But then the way to get, you know, Magic is dictated as being a hobbyist business, and they are 98% of the market probably.
Yeah.
And so, in order to, the good thing is for me and Roddy is we're both absolute nutters, and we like thinking of mad, wacky tricks. And even if I said to Roddy, let's come up with 6-card repeat or something like that, we're not going to finish until it's 6-card repeat, but it's not cards and it's not 6. You know, it's something bananas.
Toast.
And then the good thing about that is when you have mad premises, plots, and presentations and all that good stuff, that will then appeal to hobbyists as well as pros, because hobbyists, what they want, they go, well, I've got the same, you know, 12 people I can show a magic trick to. I want that trick to be so different that when I show it to someone, they don't say, oh, I've seen this one, Steve. They want that moment to go, oh yeah, that's why, you know, mini book, for example, they say, oh yeah, the trick with a laptop, it's so memorable that and it's bananas as well. We want those kind of moments where people say, oh, you know what, all of our tricks are super different and super weird, because that's going to appeal. Like, we're not doing that tactically. That is just the fact that me and Roddy were both kicked by a horse in the head as kids, and we've come up with bananas things.
That's great.
So, what I mentioned was what we're going to bring out next after Little Holes.
Yeah. What is it? Can you tell us? What's coming?
Yeah, Roddy can do the scoop.
Should I? Okay, well, this is it. I'll just show you the fancy shiny box. So this is what I'm working on at the moment, and it is Flux 2.0.
Flux 2.0. Well, Flux was. Didn't you bring that out through Full 52 and Dave Forrest decades?
Yes, indeed. In fact, just over a decade ago, actually. Yeah. So,
and I remember that being the trick that buzzed everybody was buzzing about. Can you, for the people that don't know what Flux is, can you talk about Flux 2.0 and like synopsisize what it is?
Yeah, so it's basically so it is a card reveal, right? Which I don't want to underplay it by saying that, but essentially what it is someone chooses a card and someone else attempts to find that card and they can't find it. I'm not really describing this very well, am I? You get them to make lots of dots. They make lots of dots on the card. So let's say it was the 9 of hearts. The first person looked at. The second person finds a card and it turns out to be the 3 of clubs. So you go, oh, well, let's try this. And in the back of the 3 of clubs, they make a load of marks. I wonder if I can show you. Can I show you?
No, I'm going to say no. Don't. Let's just do the story. We'll save
okay.
it.
So yeah. So they make a lot of dots on the card, and then when you show them, it's just a load of marks on the card, but with just a little shake. You just kind of shake it, and all the dots kind of move, and it ends up saying it ends up like this, and saying the name of the card, and you get to keep it. So it's a moving ink kind of thing, and it's got a very satisfying method to it. Even if I do say so myself. So originally the reveal was the 2 of hearts. So you can only do one reveal with it, but now the 2.0 you have 2 gimmicks, so you can do the 2 of hearts and the 9 of hearts. And whereas before they've provided this little kind of plastic stencil so you could make up cards that you could give away at the end, we now provide a bunch of these cards which we've had has done his giveaways and stuff like that. So
that's great. And just like with Minibook Pro, I'm sure that refills will be available.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if
that.
that. Yeah, definitely. I mean, the thing with Flux was I never gave the card away. I used to always do it, and I would hand them the card because you can immediately hand them the card as soon as the ink changes. You immediately hand them the card, and they can scrutinise it as much as they like. But you, as you'll know, with most of these kind of tricks, people they look at it and they go, "Wow, that's amazing." They hand it back to you, and quite often you get to go, "Oh no, you keep that," you know, and they go, "Oh really?" But I always took it back. I never gave it away with Flux. Occasionally, but very, very rarely. And it wasn't until we started doing it like this, like I had the deck printed up, and we got this deck screen printed so that I could go out and work it and see what it would be like. And I think the first time I did it, the guy went to give me it. I said, "No, you can keep that." He was like, he was just so impressed that he got to keep it. He was like, "Really? Can I keep this? Can I keep this?" And he did, and I was like, "Oh, cool! Really? I didn't think that would be an interesting giveaway." But then, as I was working, because in the restaurant there's this certain area that one room that I work in, and there's a sort of open alcove. So when I was in the other part of the restaurant, I could hear the guy talking about it, and he was telling his mate who had come in, and he was showing him the card, and he went, "Yeah, I made all these marks on here. I just like that with the pen, and I just made all these mad marks." And then when I was looking at it, the guy showed me. He said, "Can you see anything there?" And when I was looking at it, the ink all went whoop, and now it said this. And I was like, "Well, that is kind of what happened, but you know, you certainly made it sound better." So it's weird because it's not a signed card, right? You know, normally when you're doing a thing like this, it's a kind of card they signed that they keep. But it is a signed card essentially, right? It is kind of a signed card because it was a card they picked
Yeah,
random, and
yeah.
they've all these marks on it, or so they've thought, and then the marks changed into the name of the card the other person picked. So it is kind of like, as far as a layperson's concerned, they feel as if it's a signed card almost. It's weird,
Yeah.
but yeah, I give them away all the time now. I've been working it for about the last couple of months. I mean, obviously I've been doing Flux for years, but the new version of it when I'm giving them away and stuff. Yeah, it seems like people like it, but I don't know if it's got the same impact as Minibook as the little laptop. So the good thing with this, the thing with Minibook is you have to give it away, really, right? You do. I know we taught a way of doing it so you don't have to give it away, but you pretty much do because it's such a great souvenir and it's such a cute thing and people want it. With Flux, if you decide you're going to do Flux, you don't necessarily have to give it away. People will hand the card back to you, but you now have the luxury of saying, "You can keep that." Do you know what I mean? So, and I think people are going to be excited. We have a new little system for how can I put this? No, the Sharpie part of it.
Got a new system, so they need to make the marks on the card. I think you can probably guess what might be happening there, but we've got a really cool system that
That allows you to do that
it's
very
a very
easily.
simple and elegant solution. But you'll go, bloody hell, that's great. I can use that in other ways, 10 other ways.
Yeah.
So it's
So another
again,
little bonus.
we're over delivering.
Another over deliver. It's another little bonus that comes with it.
Yeah, a trick and a half you're getting really. It is because you've got a bunch of other stuff you can do with it as well. But yeah, as Roddy said, that ink movement, that moment, because the trick is going along. It starts the way a bunch of tricks do. You choose, a couple of cards are chosen. We're going back and forth, shuffling, all that good stuff, and then it gets a bit weird, and that's where me and Roddy love those moments. That when they've jabbed away on the card, and then this ink moves, and when they say move, it looks like liquid ink. It looks like the Terminator coming to life. It looks absolutely incredible.
Yeah, you can write the ad copy, man. I like the sound of that.
Well, I will. And then it's coming to life in that way, in that sort of beautiful way. And then the magician, when the magicians get this thing, the gimmick is phenomenal, and you will, and that's true of Little Holes as well. When it comes to playing with this thing, you are going to enjoy this so much. It is such a ton of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's so simple as well. I mean, obviously, you know the trick, you know the gimmick, Craig. It's like um, that was the thing that so many people loved about it. Like they loved the visual, but when I showed them how it worked, they were all like, "Oh, really? That's that how it
Yeah.
works? Wow!" And yeah, I mean, it went down really well when it came out first time, and people have been asking me for it for years. When's it coming out again? When can I get this? Do you have any copies of it? And you know, we've you know, Penguin for the whole time I was with Penguin. Tim was always saying to me, "Let's do this. Let's do Flux again." I'd be like, "Yeah, not right now. I'm waiting. I'm waiting until I'm doing it for myself, basically, right?" So yeah,
Yeah.
coming soon, coming this
Yeah.
year.
So Flux.
This year.
As soon as
So
we
definitely
smashed
coming.
into Little Holes.
Yeah, it's hot in the heels of Little Holes. I'm currently making them right now. Not right now.
And is this
That's what I'm doing down
and
here.
is and is this going to be another exclusive to the Trick Trick Boom website, or is this going to be something that goes out
I
everywhere?
think certainly to start with, it will
Yeah.
be. That's certainly I think the pattern that we're going to go for because, like we've put so much work into this, and Roddy's made it very clear, and it is true. It is a shitload of effort, tons of effort,
I
thousands
mean,
of hours.
the thing is, like you said, it's a kind of balancing act, isn't it? Really, like when you put a trick out through Murphy's, everyone knows about it, right? It's everywhere because it's in Murphy's interest to kind of like blast it out there and let everyone know about it. And as soon as every dealer in the world's got it, then everyone that you subscribe to, you open your email and it's like this, you know, it's Tobias Dostal's new thing. It's everywhere. Magic boxes. Alakazam's got it. Penguin's got it. Everyone's got it, right? And your Facebook and your email is just full of it, right? So you're going to go, right, I'll pick up from one of these guys, whoever I normally go for Vanishing Ink, I'll get it from them or whatever. So there's that, right? But if you do it that way, then you not only are you competing against every other dealer in the world with your own trick, but when you sell it to those other dealers or you sell it to Murphy's, you're only making less than half from it every time they sell one. Do you know what I mean? So it's a balancing act. Like you say, with the amount of effort that you put into it, do you have enough faith to put it out yourself and hope that people will come to your door, or do you put it out through Murphy's and let the world know about it? And I think I would like to think that with Minibook, we were able to put ourselves on the map a little bit, let people know that we're here, so that now we're in a position to be able to say, "Oh, we're here and the shop's open, and we have this cool new thing now. So please, you know, come to us for it. We'll look after you, and we'll make sure that you're
We've caught
getting
their
something
attention,
awesome."
and we want to make sure that everyone that comes to us that we're so genuinely happy. We get loads of emails, loads of nice messages, and every customer. I know that every magic shop will tell you this, but me and Roddy really, really mean it. Everyone that comes to us and supports us, you know, a small little indie with big ambitions, it means so much to us because, you know, you get a nice message, a little Facebook thing, they're all going to get replied to. Someone sends a video, I did the trick last week. Can you let me know when this new thing's coming? I've seen a thing at Blackpool. All of that is, I will, you know, if it comes to me directly, I'll share it with Roddy. And if it's, we just love having those little moments because.
Well, I'll tell you, one thing that's been surprising with Noel and I working together is going into this, and certainly in the start, I was convinced that I was the nice guy, right? I thought, right, I'm the nice guy out of us two, right? I'm not going to make some analogy to other. I'm going to say what I was going to say there, but I'm the nice one. But what I found is that actually knows the nice. I'm still kind of the nice one, but see, when it comes to customer service, when if there's a problem and I go, look, man, these things happen. I get it. Just say to the guy, look, sorry, mate. That's the way it goes. Unfortunately, you know what I mean? Because you know, shit happens. No, not like it's like maybe we sent you an order and you didn't get it, so we sent another one out and you didn't get that one. So we're like, look, man, well, one of them's going to turn up at some point, right? There's not really much we can do just now. But man, no, that's not going to stand with Mr. Qualter. It's like, no, we'll practically go to someone's door, so sort of wading through 4 feet of snow to hand it to them individually, and I'm like, right, okay. So it turns out he's the nicer one when it comes to customer service. So
I want them all to be happy because you know what? I know what it's
yeah,
like.
of course we do.
You
Of course we
like
do.
like we know with this, most people, and me and Roddy have had this conversation a million times. Most people have got 1 or 2 magic shops that get their money.
Yep.
To get them to change that, it's like moving an aircraft hangar. It is not aircraft. What they call the boats, the
Yeah.
long boats.
Yeah.
Aircraft. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Big
Totally.
It's late. It's like moving to get them to change. They're like, but we don't. Me and Roddy have had this conversation with customers. Said, hey, we've got it. They go, I know, but I've got 1 credit card and it goes to Vanishing Ink or Penguin.
Oh, I get messages all the time. I got a message the other day from a guy who was proudly telling me, he was like, hey man, I just bought Predictions, Puzzled, and 2 other ones I can't remember what they were from Penguin. And he was like, yay. And I said, that is great, brilliant. But, and he was like, and he wanted the Magic 8 Ball thing, which is something, shouldn't be talking about this. This isn't about this. But anyway, the point was, I did say to him, well, I'm going to have a few of them soon. But he was like, no, I just got them all from Penguin. And he wanted me to go, yeah, that's awesome. But I did. I said, well, I don't actually make any royalty off of that. But thanks. I appreciate the support and stuff. And even though I've said that to people, like, I know if you see my trick out with another company, I might not necessarily make any money or anything off of that. Not that I'm just about making the money, but people just go, oh no, right, I know, okay, but it's Penguin I always buy from, or it's Vanishing Ink I always buy from. And we've had people kind of saying, can I get Minibook? I remember that at one point, can I get Minibook? And at the time, I don't think Vanishing Ink carried it. And we said, yeah, you can get it from us. And he was like, do you know when Vanishing Ink are going to have it? And well, we don't. He said, okay, well, I'll just wait. And he would rather just wait, even though he desperately wanted it.
You could have had it 2 days from then. Yeah.
He was like, no, I'll wait until Vanishing Ink have it. Yeah. So yeah, getting on people's radar. That's the most important thing for us.
We'll get to that stage and people say, "I'll wait till Trick Boom's got it." That's
yeah.
Well, that brings me up to my next question, which is right. Okay.
When can I go to my bed? Soon.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
No. So two questions. So the first question is: you've talked about Trick Boom, and you want it to be big, and you want it to be huge. What's your goal for it? Everything that's come out so far has been from the mind of Noel Qualter and Roddy McGhie. Are you going to be having other people come and submit ideas?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to eventually open a magic shop and stock other stuff that's not Trick Boom? Like, what's the goal moving forward? That's the first part of my question. Second part of my question is, it's less than 5 months till Blackpool. You guys like making a statement. What you got?
Yeah.
That's Joe. 2 great questions. Joe, I will cover these because I'll cover the beginning with them anyway. We have got Price. What was the first question?
The first question is,
what
you do?
Yeah. So the goal is, like, we talk about this a lot, and I think, like, certainly we are looking for people sending submissions because we want to create tons of magic. Me and Roddy's favourite thing, absolute favourite thing, is banging around ideas. We've had people sending tricks on email, and even though we didn't end up, working with the guy, we're so delighted that they, did. Someone would,
they would consider us
the trick. We'll then spend hours, even if the trick isn't for us. You go, you know what? I might spend 3 hours discussing, how it possibly could do, and can we work on it? Can we make it better? So we have got. There's a trick that we'll be doing, which I bloody love to get out for Blackpool. I won't give it too much of a tease because I know it's like when you see these things, think, oh, I really expected that. But there's a trick, and it's 3-card Monty related, which is working with another magician, and it is the most innovative, crazy trick that has.
Yeah, I think we'll be able to do it.
because if we can get that out, that is an absolute monster. So we want to have tricks from other magicians. We want to be able to get. I can't see a time when we're going to have a physical shop, but who knows? But I certainly, I would like us, in the medium term, to start carrying other people's stuff, not just creating them, but that we are your local dealer, because as the dealers
carefully curated, a bit kind of like what Luke does, with all things magic. We'll be choosing the stuff that we like to carry,
things that we'll use, because that's one of the things is I get it. If people say to me, do you know what, I would have loved to have ordered mini book or little holes from you guys, but I needed to buy loops, an invisible deck, and whatever else.
And then you're not paying shipping twice.
I get it, right? But you know what? Like that, we've now got. I say a warehouse. It's probably wrong to even mention. Been a bad year for magic warehouses, but
don't talk about
that. We've got a magic warehouse, and we've got stuff in there, and in a reasonable amount of time, we could start looking at stocking. Like Roddy said, carefully curated range of other products that we use ourselves or that are essential to being a magician.
Yeah, and when it comes to Blackpool, I think I'm going to have to just, I don't know, get my whole body tattooed live on the stand. That's what I'm going to have to do. No, we have stuff coming. You can take over here. No, you can. So there's a thing you mentioned, which I am going to be pushing as fast as I can. So over this next couple of weeks, once I get some little stuff out of the way and I finish, or at least get really into the Flux, I'll start getting prototype. Well, I've got a prototype, but I start getting like stuff for our guy that makes the things, and hopefully, by the end of this month we can start working on that. And we have another thing that could be exciting. Anyway, you talk about this.
I will give you the clickbait thing for it, which is, and I can't say we'll deliver on all of these because they are long-term projects, but there's the Monty routine that we mentioned that working with other magician for as well. And then here's one. We're planning on revolutionizing mind reading. That'll be the Murphy's email subject headline. And creating the new opener for every close-up magician in the world. And I'm not saying that's the clickbait title, but that.
Oh, what's the last thing? I don't know what the last thing is. What's the opener? It's whispering.
Are we?
Yeah.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm not even his business partner, and I know what he's talking about.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah,
it's like that wasn't the most recent thing I was excited about, so it's just been not.
I'm very excited about that because you've showed me an actual working model of that, and I just wanted to sit there and play with it for like hours. Yeah. Like it's so fun.
Oh, do you know? I'll tell you that thing. Right, I know we're being cryptic here. I was unconvinced.
People absolutely crazy as well. So I don't want to be the big old tease thing.
Yeah, I was unconvinced of that. Right, I was like, yeah, okay, I kind of get what you're talking about. And Noel was like, man, honestly, once you play with it, then you'll change your mind. And he was absolutely right. It was like, oh, what a laugh I had with it. Like, as soon as I got it, I was like, I couldn't stop. Anyway, that all sounds very, very ridiculous, and yeah. Anyway,
it makes you feel like a rock star. That's what it does.
Honestly, even if I think most magicians, it's fair to say, are light on the badass front. I mean, there are a few badasses, but this, you're like, you know what? Maybe I'm the biggest badass in the room. My prediction when we get the thing out will be in not just every trophy.
Yeah, I was utterly unconvinced, and I'm telling you, the first time I was like, I set it up and I did the thing and it worked. First time I did it, I was like that. It's just like I so wish there'd been other people there to see it happen. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's unbridled joy that is.
For such a ridiculous thing, right? It's so hard to get across. Anyway, we're talking in riddles that sound like we're talking about something else, something rude. So let's move on. Yeah, thanks for reminding me of that. Totally forgotten about that one.
Yeah, don't worry, I haven't forgotten. That is.
We have so many things that are vying for. Let's do this for the Blackpool thing. Let's do this for the Blackpool thing. We've got lots of things that are floating about, but definitely three that are already moving.
Obviously,
You know?
and obviously, Flux too will have never seen a Blackpool before. So there's lots of people who won't have seen that, and that
we
will
The tricks.
Yeah, and we'll
tricks
have
from Blackpool last year.
we're still going to have like we'll have like discards will be at Blackpool because that won't be released by Blackpool. Hopefully, maybe by Blackpool time we will give that an official release. That is one of my favourite things that we've come up with this. This absolutely is beloved of lay people. Honestly, in my residency, this gets just the best reactions. People love it. So yeah, we'll have that. We'll have Flux, and hopefully, and we'll have little holes and
keypad. That's
and keypad as well, of course, which will be the next thing out. And hopefully, these three things that we can start to tease a little bit of Blackpool, which will come out over that year. But it's like real work this month. It's like we've been a proper grown up. It's hard.
I mean,
we need
the
a
amount of stuff.
We need a third party to join us. That's what we need to join us.
Well, we sort of have got a third party, and Nikki doing.
Oh yeah, of course, a fourth party there.
We need a fourth
the
party.
indispensable Nikki. Honestly, she is the boom for sure.
Yeah. So no, that's the thing is we are growing. We've realised, as we've said, that the whole thing, it's just so much work. So it's not realistic for Roddy to carry on doing it. So we're going to find a way, which I think to share some of that load, because if a trick's been out and we need to get a second run made or something like that, that then becomes a very important but a B priority. Because
that's a tough one.
So then we go, listen, we want that second run, more money, all that good stuff, but we need support. So that's my plan, and Roddy's plan for the next couple of weeks is get that aspect really sorted, which I think we're going to get sorted.
Yeah, you've got some editing job to do on this, man. How you been talking about 5 hours here, something like that? Jeez, oh.
This has been fascinating. It really has. So you guys, you're planning world domination. I want to wrap this up by, if anybody's watching this and they want to bring a trick out, it could be somebody who's never bought a trick out before. It could be somebody who's, I don't know, regularly bought tricks out, and they want to work with you as a company. How can they contact you? And kind of, can you very briefly describe the process of, like, so what I mean is some production companies, they just want a finished product and that's it. Whilst others, you go to them and they'll help you, and it'll be like, right, okay, it's here, it needs to be here, but we can help you get it there. You know what I mean? Like, what level of input are you guys prepared to give to somebody who's coming and
well, certainly the easiest way to get in touch is via the email contact on Trick Boom. So drop us a line.
Yeah, the way we prefer you to do it is to just write it down, roll up, and put it in a bottle, cork it, and toss it into the sea, and then fingers crossed it'll arrive at some point. Because how much more romantic would that be if I was wandering along the beach and I found a trick submission just bobbing up on the shore? No, email us. Just email us.
Email us, and also we've got. So one of the things I guarantee as well is that if we get a trick sent in, that is so exciting to me and Roddy. Like straight away, or within a few hours. Like, did you get that? Did you have a look at the trick yet that the guy sent?
Yeah.
We will go back and forth. The minimum we will do is we will discuss that at length to see if it works for us, if it can work, and if it can, we'd love to get something going, because what we're looking for is fresh, fun ideas. Not, like I said, we don't want. Maybe me and Roddy will one day come up with a triumph or something like that. but I guarantee you, it won't just be, mix the cards up, and unless there's some mad twist to it, or we love card magic, we love all kinds of magic, but bananas stuff that's commercial is our absolute favourite thing. So if you've got some ideas that everyone else is telling you are too daft, send us a message. But also, if you have the brand new sponge balls, come to us as well.
Yeah. No, I mean, we have certainly, we've had some cool stuff that people have shown us, but it just doesn't really fit for us, So in that case, we'll say, well, contact this person or contact this company. That's more of a fit for you. That I don't know if it's something that's going to work for us. But if we find like the Monty thing that we were talking about, that was a different trick that came up in conversation, and that was mentioned, and it's created a bit of a spark for me, and it got me running along on a different idea, and we worked on this together and came up with this something that I think is great. So certainly, if someone submits something and it's something that's for us and they want to work with us and they like us as people and all the rest of it, then we'll pull out all the stops to make sure that we create a product that is just the best it can be. You know what I mean? And we'll look after people as well, because we've been in the position of submitting tricks to companies and getting our, here's your 50 quid, thanks for coming. But we'll
also
look after
communication. Like, that's the other thing, is you send something in, no one gives you an answer, no one says anything, you're waiting for months or something, and then when you start on the journey, I'll keep you up to date with how things are going. We want to be completely transparent.
Yeah. Well, I'm terrible at communicating, but no, he'll keep you in the loop.
Well, you'll be too busy in the glue factory, so.
Yeah.
Also, Roddy's thinking about going to his bed now, but because he can't, because he's got another 8 hours to do of sleep gluing, which is sleepwalking.
Yeah, definitely. That's amazing.
Sleeps with a glue stick in his hand.
Yeah. Well, makes a change. Could be something else. I think that you guys are going to smash it. I think that there's every reason to think that you can become one of the biggest producers in the next 5 years in the whole of
thank you.
Magic. Oh man, that'd be great. That would be great.
Yeah, I think we're certainly going to. We can't, we're giving it 100% effort every single day. I don't want a real job now. I'm too old to go back to a real job, honestly. So this needs to work. So please, please buy your tracks. Words a minute.
Exactly. Look at this. Look at the Nickias, man. Look at the state of us. We can't do anything else. This is like one of those dogs first adverts. This is what it's like, isn't it? It's like those adverts that are on the TV during the day. This is Noel. Noel can't do a real job. Look at him. Look at Roddy, man. He's only 25. Look at the state of him. Well, what I like to think of you guys as, you're a more relatable, likable version of Josh and Andy.
Yeah. We're vanishing with a soul. That's
Yeah. Which one am I? Don't know. Let's not fight over it. I don't know. Yeah. I've got one more question, which is, we've seen Roddy, some of your releases or some of Roddy's variations of Roddy's classics, like, Little Holes, variation on Little Doors, Flux 2. Are we going to be seeing the same from you, Noel? I know you've been more selective with the stuff you brought out in the past, but Bliss was incredible. The Fall sold out incredibly fast. And I know that you said to me at the time, I love the Fall, I still do it now. And I know you said to me at the time, it's like a bitch to make, but now you've got someone who can make it for you. Like, are we going to see... Whoa. Are we going to see like some classic Noel Qualter tricks being revisited in the future?
I would say that, like, we've got, Bliss and some other bits and pieces from me are on the website, certainly on the, maybe not in the US, we haven't got them in the US, but we've got a lot of the stuff here. But if... we have talked about this, though. Flux 2.0 could be. It'll get someone going, that's for sure. But it's it could well be a thing. Not soon. It's not on the slate for any time soon. But I've got some ideas for it. And also, like, all of me and Roddy's stuff is, you know, very often one of us will come with the idea and then it gets banged around. And sometimes one of us is more of a lead than the other, but it's always, you know, the two of us together. And that's why everything has got both our names on it, because we, you know, there might be more of a lead, but everything is
like the Beatles.
The two of us. Because it is, we are just so involved in all of these tricks, and everything is being done either by us or, you know, the art, the trailer. Even if we're getting other people to help, we're across everything. So like, we want all choices. Like, very rarely do one of us make a choice without, you know, conferring with the other. We want to make sure we go, you cool with this? We can do this. We cool with this? Because it is not our, well, you know, close to our livelihood. You know, it is, you know, gigs as well, but it's a massive part of it.
Oh yeah.
Any choice that one of us makes, you know, I am potentially hurting my mate financially if I make a bad choice, and I can't have that on my conscience.
Yeah. Well, we've definitely discussed it, some of those tricks about revisiting and stuff like that. But I've never been a fan of a 2.0 type of thing.
I thought you said never been a fan of any of his tricks.
Yeah, that as well. I'm just skirting around that by saying this instead. I hoped you would pick up on the subliminal message here, but no, I've never really been a big fan of the 2.0 thing, even though this is
unless it's got merit.
That's what I was going to say. Unless there's a reason for doing it, right? And you know, when it came to Flux, it was like I listened to all the things that people said over the years about, oh, I didn't really like the stencil thing, and I'd like if I had a different reveal, and I'd like it, blah blah blah. So we listened to all that, and I thought, like, here's a way of doing it. We discussed this a couple of years ago. Here's a way that we could do this. We could bring it out again and make it better. So yeah, we've discussed it. We've talked about a few of your tricks that might get the treatment, you know. But as far as mine goes, there's nothing else that I would even consider revisiting. We have got so many new ideas and things that we're like more excited about, that, you know, those things will be in the back burner pretty much, really.
Like, you've seen those things online, and it's got like a dog chase, and there's a piece of ham on the end of the phone, and the dog's running after the like desperate for the ham. That's me and Rodgers. We get a new idea and racing towards it. So then, for us to be motivated on older tricks, even though we're excited about them, unless they get us feeling that fizzy moment, we've got so much stuff to do. There's not enough hours in the day.
Yeah.
So many tricks that we like. I reckon in the last year, me and Roddy have had 30 ideas that are super commercial. Now they are ranging between 50% and 100% there, and some ideas might need to leave, you know, to be incubated for a period of months or years till we've worked out all the kinks. But we'll have an idea and go, that's an absolute, you know, banging hook. Like, one of my favourite things is coming up with a hook for a trick. Just, you know, here's a fun premise, and then I'll try and work out what the trick is. But very often I'll ring Roddy up and say, wouldn't it be cool if you could do a trick with a hairdryer? I mean, it's not quite as simple as that, but just a hairdryer that you dry someone's hair, and the card reveal gets dried into their hair.
And I reply with, "You have the wrong number, I'm afraid. You phoned the wrong guy for that trick."
Yeah, feed Roddy, and then at some point gold can come out, and then we can bang it back and forth. Because we all know that strengths and weaknesses, and sometimes things come more fully formed. But when it comes to the creative side of it, which is probably 10% of what we do, is just on the creative side. Like, then we work great together, but we can't do it all the time, because we just run out of hours in the day because we get so excited.
Because we're talking so much, keeping this man out of his bed. That's what it is.
No, I don't care. I spend all night. You know what? Sean Farquhar did an interview on this channel, and it was 6 hours long. I think you guys are going to beat it. I think we can get you guys beating that.
We'll call it half time at this point, and then
Yeah.
reconvene.
Come on, man. I've got to get I can't even see what time it is now. I've got a watch on.
Yeah, for anybody watching this interview, we're now at 1:15 in the morning, and we're still going strong. But I'm going to wrap it up because Roddy looks like he's about to fall asleep. He's gone.
Yeah, like he's talking, man.
The interview today to literally just going, fuck this, I'm done. So it's
I'm like, who's one to listen to this, man? You know what I mean?
Back to that laser cutter, you'll be fine. That'll keep you.
No, exactly. Who's listening to this?
I
mean,
love
it's like, although what I have to say is that quite often my wife watches these. If I do one of these things, and God, like, if she's spending 2 hours doing this and that, who's doing the ironing and the hoovering and this? I'm joking. I do all that. No, that's even worse. I'll get in more trouble for saying that. I'm joking. No, yeah, who's watching this? Why? This is a direct appeal to whoever's watching this. Why are you still watching this, mate? Come on. I mean,
brilliant.
Get your bed or get your work or
get to
talk to your child or get to Trick Boom online and buy your.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the appeal.
No, I'm gonna go outside, man. Just go outside. The sun's shining. Even if it's raining, go out, get some air. You don't need to watch this. Goodness sake.
Oh my God! I can see why you do the marketing now. I get.
Yeah. You can see why Penguin were so excited about me doing social media stuff for them. That did not work. But then
this bit's all getting cut. There's going to be a hard edit, and Craig's
I know exactly.
That's the end of the show.
Exactly.
Are you kidding? This stuff's staying in 100%. This is amazing. This is the best ever. And it shows why you guys are so awesome. And I want to say thank you. This is not going to be the last time that you come on Magic TV. I'm a big fan of you guys. Maybe one day you should have as part of your roster a two-time Penguin Magic Creator of the Year. Just
yeah. I don't know. Oh yeah.
By the way. But look, you guys are amazing. You care about Magic. You care about the end product. You care about the customer. You care about everything, and everything that you've brought out has been incredible. I've seen a lot of the stuff. I've seen the stuff that has come out, but people aren't aware of it yet. I'm aware of stuff that you've got coming out that people aren't aware of it. Everything that you bring out is a worker. And that's why you guys have to be successful. And I think having that huge stand, having that presence, you're making a statement and you're shaking some feathers. And I think that the future's bright. The future's yellow.
I hope so. Brilliant. Thank you, man. Thanks so much.
Thanks, dude.
So I want everyone who's watching this to do a couple of things. First of all, connect with you guys on social media, connect with Trick Boon on social media. Second of all, get down to the website. There'll be a link down below. And if you haven't got, I'm sure every magician in the world has got Minibook Pro right now, but if they haven't, go and buy Minibook Pro. Go get Little Holes. My review is coming very, very soon. In fact, the review might be up by the time you watch this. But go, I'll tell you right now, it's brilliant. Go and pick up Little Holes. Go and sign up to the mailing list, right? Because when they get the mailing list,
when
all of this stuff comes out, that's the best way to keep in track of what's going on. And then when you get to Blackpool, the first thing you need to do is go to Trick Boom, because they will have the most exciting booth at Blackpool.
Let's hope so. No, well, one more thing, in case there are some Minibook super fans, I hope, that are watching. If you are looking for refills or Minibook, they are completely sold out at Murphy's. So no dealers are going to have them, but one dealer has them, which is us. So we've got them in the US and we've got them in the UK, and we'll send them all over the world. So I promise to all the Minibook super fans, and I've said it repeatedly, we will never be out of stock of the refills, because I know what it's like when you get hooked on a trick. It's the only place in the world, brackets, unless a dealer has got one dusty old copy in a cupboard somewhere. The only place to get it in the world is from us. So yeah, swing by tricktrickboom.com. We've got you covered for Minibook and Little Holes and miracles to follow.
Guys, thank you so much for coming on the channel. Congratulations on your success. And I'm not even going to say good luck in the future because I know you're going to kill it.
Thank you.
I'm sure I'll see you all soon. Guys, thank you one more time. I really
Thank you, Craig, as always. Thanks for listening to this.
Thanks so much.
Ross.
This was
three Ronnies here with the glasses on, I'm telling you.
There you go. This was super fun. Guys, do me a favor, leave a comment down below. Let Roddy and Noel know what you think of the interview. Don't listen to Roddy. Don't go outside. Go on Trick Trick Boom. Buy everything. I'll be back again next Saturday with another Talk Magic. And in the meantime, on behalf of Roddy McGhie and Noel Qualter and Trick Trick Boom, thanks very much. And we'll see you again on Magic TV.